and that is a gelatina. And a gelatina is a high-class gelatin. But again, the very best start with rich, very wonderful tasting fruits. And we're using pomegranates. For those of you who have never seen a pomegranate, that's what one looks like. And again, you want to look for a nice, full, figured fruit that's hard, doesn't have any bad spots on it, because that will assure you that you are getting a juicy pomegranate. That's melagrane in Italian. So now we want to cut this. Let me show you what the inside of this looks like. Isn't that beautiful? And look at that rich red color. Now you can imagine what a beautiful gelatina that's going to make. The problem is, how do you get the seeds out and how do you juice that? Well, there are several ways to do it. I'm taking the lazy man's way out today and using a juicer. This is just an electric juicer. You see, and it has a little top that goes on the top. And when you press down, it will extract the juice. That's one way of doing it. Let me show you how this would happen. Of course, you have to wear a raincoat when you do this because this is kind of messy. So you would put the fruit right over the top, and then it extracts the juice for you and leaves the pulp behind. And for this gelatina, obviously we have to start out with gelatin. And we know gelatin as this. It's really an animal protein. It's good for your fingernails. And in Italy, if you were using this, this is what you would get. You see? Gelatin sheets. Something called colla di pesce. But you're going to be using this. Now, because we have a fruit juice that's very acidic, we have to use more gelatin than necessary. So I have 3 packages in here. And to that, a half a cup of cool water. Now, we do this first to soften the gelatin and break up the gelatin molecules. Then we will add warm water to this. So I mix this up first and let this sit around for a few minutes. And then we have more hot water here and sugar. So here we have a cup of hot water. I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Now that that is ready, we can add this to the gelatina. You see? Get that all mixed. Make sure that's well mixed now because you don't want clumping of the gelatin. And then we add our juice. And you see, I already have 2 cups of my pomegranate juice. Look at how wonderful the color of that is. And also with that, I like to put a little bit of freshly squeezed lemon juice. So that goes in. And then, in addition, I have to have seeds. And there they are, the pomegranate seeds, which are wonderful in salads or just to suck on if you want to just munch on something that's really wonderful. That gets all mixed in. And now you want to put this into a mold. And here you have options, of course. Now, when I use a mold like this, a metal mold, or I like to use a copper mold because I think that that really turns out a beautiful looking gelatina, I usually spray the mold first and give it a little coating of vegetable oil. But if you don't have a copper mold, well, look around the house to see what you do have that you could use as a mold. Maybe you have some kind of a rubber Tupperware type thing that you can use. Or this is just an old melon mold that I have sitting on my shelf at home that I often use for making gelatina. So there, it's all ready to go. So all you have to do then is put the mixture into whatever mold you're using. I'm going to stop right there because that's enough. I'm going to scoop out a few more of those seeds. And then if you have any left over, you haven't quite enough room in the mold you're using, you can always use tiny little molds like this, you see? After you do that, all you have to do now is put this in the refrigerator. This is going to take, about 5 hours in order to chill and be solid. And believe me, when you eat that, you're going to thank me for introducing you to pomegranates. Okay, well, that's pomegranates. Let's clean up the decks here a little bit because we're not done. How about